Hi everyone, I'm James Tyson. I'm with Spaced Out Weekend, and with me today is Shawn and the Jolly Paul. Hi. Western Canada Paranormal and Spirit Expo 2015 in just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia, just over the border from Washington State. Shawn, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do and who you are and
Sure.
what your birthday is?
Yeah, high school locker number? Yeah, I've been, of course I started out as an investigator. I've been investigating for quite a long time, and eventually started Ghost Stop. Ghost Stop is a business where we build ghost hunting equipment, we sell ghost hunting equipment, but even aside from that, we continue to be investigators, and I think that's what makes us unique from, say, buying something on Amazon, is that we are using this equipment, we are building equipment, we know it from the ground up, we know how it works. So, ghoststop.com is where we have a shop in just outside of Orlando, Florida, where we kind of geek out all day. It's
What a great thing to do when you're not at Disney World. It's one of those.
When you live near Disney World, it kind of loses its luster a bit.
I know, that's no good. Paul?
I have not lost the luster
No.
of Disney.
No.
I'm still very much a Disney and Universal geek. We're going to lose interest. You're just old. So anyway, my name is Paul Bradford. I was the tech manager for Ghost Hunters International, the sci-fi channel, and whatever channel is in Canada. The UK live in it, Sky TV, Sony Entertainment Channel, and Dave.
And Dave TV.
Dave. Yeah, there's a channel called
Dave. Yes.
Yeah,
Dave
okay.
TV.
Yeah, okay. See, I wasn't making that up.
Some guy with
I know, it's like UHF. I own the station. I'm going to call it Dave. But now I'm actually the production manager for Ghost Stop. I actually invent, build, research, develop tech, ghost tech. That's what I do. One of the things that both Shawn and I have actually managed to do is take a hobby and make a career of it. I was building equipment before I was on Ghost Hunters International. I was building equipment while I was with Ghost Hunters International, and I continue to build equipment for paranormal investigations, even now.
Sweet. Now, you were with just Ghost Hunters because they didn't want you to go international. There
was no international.
There was no international? Oh, you should have hung on a little longer. But you were doing the same thing. You were building your equipment, and then that's kind of how you got involved with that television show at the time.
Yeah, I've been, I got brought into a TAPS family member team back in 2006, and just from my sheer experience, I was a graphic designer by career at the time. I got brought in essentially to analyze some photography, to try and find out if what was being sent in by a particular client was touched up or not.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, of course, it was much easier to figure out whether somebody photoshopped something or not. Now it's a lot harder, but back then, I could pick it apart pretty quickly. So that's how I kind of got attached to the TAPS team, and then from there I started. I've always been working with the TAPS home team as far as equipment, and then Ghost Hunters International worked Rob actually a lot of the Ghost Hunters International guys came from our team in Florida. Rob, who was the first team lead for Ghost Hunters International, was Florida Ghost team.
Was it Scott from down?
Scott is from Tallahassee.
He's from Florida.
Yeah. And
he wasn't TAPS family.
No.
So naturally, through that, I got very, tight as far as helping out with equipment, kind of being a consultant in that regard, as far as what they can use on investigations. So
nice.
It just kind of fell together from there.
Yeah, and Paul, you were kind of similar. You were building the gear, and or did you?
What happened?
Fall into yours?
When I moved to America, it was around about 9 years ago that I moved here, and at the time I was working on my green card and things like that. So my brother-in-law at the time was part of a paranormal group, local, and he just invited me to come along. That was basically how it started. I mean, I've always had an interest in paranormal as far as sort of UFOs goes. I mean, I grew up watching way too much television. You know, the X-Files, Doctor Who, Star Trek, anything sort of sci-fi was really my vice. That was really what I sort of grew up. And that whole thing sort of opened up the world of possibilities for me. You know, as far as there's other life out there, whether it's, you know, in space or it's spiritual or whatever. So I've always had an interest. So when I was asked to go on an investigation, I was like, yeah, great. Why not give it a shot? And we ended up forming our own group out there. And from there, it became very obvious very fast that paranormal equipment was either non-existent or very, very expensive. You know, you were basically repurposing a tool that was for something completely different. You know, you were getting a lot of stuff from Home Depot, Lowe's, Harbor Freight, things like that. And it was very, very expensive. So I started researching online, and I started to look at different ideas, and I started coming up with my own ideas and thinking, well, how can I test that idea? And so I came up with my infrared lights. I came up with the IR strobe, the geophones, things like that. I was building this equipment, and it was getting attention from other groups locally. And so, you know, we were doing like different investigations with other groups now. So they would ask me to build tech for them, so I built something for them. And then that would get out word and mouth. So a lot of it was word and mouth initially, and then they started to have a few interviews, a few blog talk interviews. There was some interviews from the UK. There was somebody who interviewed me from Germany. It was all over my infrared strobe theory. I had this theory about these IR strobes and stuff. And people kept, you know, asking me about the equipment I was building, and suddenly I get a call from a guy who runs a website called paranormalnews.com. And he says, the guys from Ghost Hunters are looking for you. At that point, I'm like, shit, what have I done? I mean, why would they be looking for me? So he's like, you know, he says, look, they asked me to give you, they asked me to give you their number, and can you give them a call? So I was like, oh. So I did. I called them, and it turns out that I'd gotten some. I guess I just was highlighted, or somebody had noticed me, and they asked if I would be interested in being part of a paranormal TV show. So I was like, yeah, it sounds like fun. I mean, they were specific with like, we're not going to tell you which one. We can't tell you which one. But if you're interested, then, you know, we'll do this interview and whatnot. So they had me set up this interview and do this. I had a camera mounted in front of me. I had my phone on speakerphone, and they were asking me these questions. And from there, it sort of just went. You know, they then called me up a couple of days later and said, we'd like to fly you out to Chile. I was like, okay, sure. So yeah, they didn't even screen test me. They just like, we're going to send you out to Chile, and it's going to be a swim or sink moment at that point. And from there on, I was with GHF for 4 years.
Oh, excellent. And well, excellent because you got a tour.
Yeah.
And you still got to build equipment.
I was still doing equipment. As I got pulled in actually as a tech specialist. They actually invented the title for me because till then they've only ever had. They were very cookie cutter. The whole Ghost Hunters franchise was very cookie cutter. They only had lead, co-lead, tech manager, investigator, or case manager. They didn't have anything else. That was it. That was the titles that everybody got. And then suddenly they bring in the seventh member. You know, because they only had 6. There's always 6 team members. If you watch the shows, there's always 6 people. Well, suddenly they had this 7th member, and they had this completely created a title for me. Everybody on the team kind of shit themselves because they didn't know who was going to be chopped at that point. And they were like, but Barry was thinking that I was going to be taking over from him because I was a techie. Why do you need 2 techies? The investigators were all worried because the investigators were the first person people to go. Yeah. So they were all worried. I think the only person who didn't really care was Rob. So everybody basically was very sort of offish to start with. They were sort of they were sort of very stand back. Not sure whose job I'm taking, who is this guy, and all that. But after a few investigations, it was just a case of I just did my thing, and I was still there. So
yeah, and the red shirts were all.
Yeah, we did.
It's okay.
Yeah, who's next?
Now,
that lasted for how long for you, Shawn? Shawn. Sorry.
Well, it was 2 episodes last season.
Yeah.
And actually, I have kind of a similar story in that. Like I said, I've been working with TAPS for quite a while as far as producing equipment and supplying equipment and such. And Jason and I were talking. I think that's how it started. Jason and I were talking. He said, well, we're coming down to Florida. That I've been working on for quite a while. I said, well, we're coming down to Florida, so why don't you bring it up? He said, okay, cool. That'd be. It was just a single prototype anyway, so I'd rather hand carry it up there since they weren't too far anyway.
Yeah.
That was the case in the jail, so it was only about a 2-hour drive for us. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to hand carry it up there. It's the only one in existence, so that I can take it back, because I still,
There's a lot of tweaking
test
still.
it on the Vista. Yeah, we still had a lot of tweaking to do. It was very much a prototype.
In fact, if you look at it, if you watch the show and you look at it,
it's completely different than what it looks like.
It's completely different, but there's also some gaff tape holding certain parts on because Shawn broke it.
Yeah.
You don't really see it.
You don't see it on the show. So I brought the piece of equipment, and Jay and I were talking, and he said, "So you're investigating tonight?" They said I was just bringing the equipment. I didn't bring hardly any investigation equipment at all. So I just brought the 360 rig. That was it. I said, "Well, sure, why not?" It just turned into investigation that night at the Clay County Jail, and then just kind of went on from there. But regarding when I was setting up the 360 rig in the courtroom upstairs, while I'm setting it up. Again, there's only one of these things. So while I'm setting it up, there's a cameraman watching everything I'm doing because he's getting shots of setup and all that. And while I'm putting it out and I'm turning the knob, I hear the thing broke right in front of the cameraman. So I'm sweating at that point. I'm trying to figure out, they brought me up here just for this. What am I going to do now? I rigged it from there, and you can't really tell on the show now.
But did it work?
It worked. It worked great.
It looked good on TV as well.
It worked great. And for me, you know what? After review, I talked to Jason and said, we didn't get anything. After review, he said, you know what? And this is my point anyway. He said, you know what? The point is that there was something experienced in that room. The point of the 360 rig is that we can prove that nobody was in there making that sound, or nobody was in there to produce that. So, and I'm big about documentation, with all of our equipment. So to me, the biggest point of the 360 rig is to document what's going on in the room in a 360-degree panoramic. You can't. It always happens on an investigation. You're running around with a camera and something happens and you turn. Oh, I was just off camera. Well, if you got a camera 360-degree panoramic sitting in the middle of the room, there's no escaping. There's no escaping. Yeah. So that was the entire point of the thing, and it serves this purpose in proving that nobody came in the room.
Shawn, does your 360 camera only do periphery, or does it also do the? Do you have a camera on top? Is it periphery camera?
It's just a panoramic right now.
Okay. Does it?
I say right now because there's always evolution. Nothing is perfect, and there's always a next version, a next generation.
Yes, you've learned that from Apple. Yeah. no, or Henry Ford. I wanted to.
I've learned that because nothing's ever perfect. Even Boo Buddy, it's been through. Boo Buddy is kind of our culmination of many, many years of experience and what we want in a piece of equipment. It's never the end. Boo Buddy's been through several different versions.
Yeah.
And we love where it's at now, but even when we were producing, the first run, we said, well, maybe next one we can do this.
We're going to do the Boo Buddy cousins. Boo Buddy's best friends.
Clowns.
No, we're not doing the clowns. We're not clowns.
Clowns.
I don't like clowns.
No clowns.
I'm a big fan.
It took a vote. There's no clowns.
No clowns. Well, there's two really for clowns.
Yeah, but tough. We have accents.
Well, the other thing too is you could always do enough of the bears where you can just have your own jamboree down at Disney World.
Yeah.
The Boo Buddy jamboree.
Now, for my listener, could you explain what a Boo Buddy is?
Sure. Boo Buddy is, like I said, is a culmination of many, many years of experience for me. I'll explain real quick. investigator where, for whatever reason, my team could be experiencing all kinds of stuff in a room. And they call me over the radio, "Hey, Shawn, get in here, all this stuff is going on." I walk in and it completely stops. So either A, I say bullshit, or B, there's something about me that is making this entity go away, making this activity go away. I don't know what that is, and I don't claim to know what it is. So I said, okay, well, what can we do in that room in order to help do our job as investigators? So we built a Boo Buddy, which does a lot of what we do on investigations anyway. It's detecting EMF changes, temperature changes, motion, and it responds to those just like we would. If the temperature gets cold, we say, "Oh, it got cold in here." That's what Boo Buddy does. Boo Buddy's going to respond and say, "It just got cold in here. Can you do that again?" If it gets pushed, it'll say, even just a little bit of touch, it will respond to that as well. It'll say, "That tickles," or there are many different responses. They all indicate what happened.
It has a vocabulary of almost 40 phrases, and with that, what you actually have is EVP questions. So it not only responds to the environment, but if there is nothing happening in the environment, like we just sat in a room for the last 4 hours, nothing's happened, well, Boo Buddy will continue to investigate. It will continue to ask questions. And every question is designed to get a positive response. There are no negative questions. There are no "do you know you're dead" questions. When did you die? Everything in there is really aimed for a child. Many cases that we get spirit children involved. There's apparently the cases where there's a little child died of tuberculosis. Most of the time it's tuberculosis. But we get those claims, and if there is a child there, the chances are they may not want to talk to an adult. They may not want to.
Or a weird-looking black box with red lights on it.
So what we do is, the theory of trigger objects has been around for a long time. Bait triggers, whatever you want to call it. There's an object placed in the room to try and entice a response. Except there's still an adult in the room. There's still people in this room asking questions. So what we want to do is take that element out of it, take the investigator out, because another thing is removing the investigator, you're now eliminating any other possibilities of false positives. So now the bear is the only thing in the room. The only voice in the room is that of the bear. So therefore you're not getting somebody shuffling on a chair, you're not getting a microphone rubbed against an item of clothing, you're not getting those false positives. The bear does all the work. It's asking the questions. It's designed not to pick up EMF from 4 feet away. It's picking up EMF from 4 inches away. It's in its own little bubble. So if something's happening, it's happening right at the bear, and that's the point of it. It's a trigger object and so much more.
Yeah, I bought one of these. It's a great little device, and I've got some places I know, some really good private investigations that are ongoing with our team that I think 3 of us have bought this.
Yes.
3 or 4.
Yeah, at least 3 of you.
We
bought 6,
sure.
we have 1 left.
Yeah, I know 3 for sure have bought one of these.
I bought one.
You got one as well,
And we're all, we're basically the same team. So we've got our Boo Bear Jamboree almost.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
See, now you can go into an investigation, put 1 Boo Buddy in that room, 1 Boo Buddy in that room, and go down a restaurant.
Yeah, have a curry.
Boo Buddy
Go get some curry.
Go get a curry. Done.
Well, that's what I was interviewing a guy who's been doing these investigations for 30 years.
Yeah.
And what he's found too, and I don't know if you guys have ever found this, is that when you go into that investigation in setup, you're getting all sorts of weird stuff.
Sure.
Well, we always do that.
Yeah. So what he does is he goes in, does a preliminary, interviews the client, gets kind of a map out of the property, leaves. When they come back in, briefs the team. They go in, don't say a word, set up, leave, and go for a coffee. 15, 20 minutes later, they come back and they start their investigation.
Well, we have audio running from the moment we go in the building.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Even with any sort of interviews in there, like we've just introduced the EVP band, which is exactly for that purpose. It's just a silicon band with an EVP recorder on there. It's a very simple on-off switch, so you just press it on, you go in. You actually forget about it. You know, so you're in here, you do your setup, you do everything else, you know, you leave. But while you're in there, it's recording everything. And then when you set your audio recorders up, you leave. So every single part of it is documented. That's the important thing, because what I've even found on investigation is I get more responses as far as EVPs are concerned when I'm not asking EVP questions. When I'm just having a conversation about something random, not even anything to do with the investigation. Susan and I used to get into a lot of trouble with Pilgrim. They hated it. They hated the fact we were talking about something non-related to the investigation. But we kept getting results from that. And I argued, I said, look, it doesn't matter. We have no say as far as the investigation is concerned. They have no say. It was out of control. So if we're talking about something and we're getting a hit from it, then it's our research. Yeah. So we would just talk about anything. You know, we were sitting in a theatre talking about the weather. You know, and we got a response. Somebody chimed in. There was a third voice. And, you know, we find that a lot. Even now, we find that there's these voices just sort of add to the conversation.
Yeah, I listened to an EVP from somebody on my team today. They were talking as they were setting up, and they got a Chinese fellow.
Right.
In China.
I heard it.
Yeah, and that was like, when you review. Now, if you can make a little boo buddy here that can review EVPs.
Shit, that's the bit I hate the most.
Oh, and EVPs from spirit boxes. So you don't go blow out instead of.
I personally don't use the spirit
just
box.
for the.
Just because I'm not going to listen to that.
For days. That's what kind of killed us. I had the best conversations, actual to and from, back and forth conversations with the other side. But
you ever used an RT EVP?
Which one?
The RT EVP.
No.
It's a real-time EVP recorder. That's my favorite, and that's a back and forth. The way that actually works is it buffers the audio. If EVP is in fact an imprint on the recording, you only hear it when you play back. So what the RT EVP does is it actually buffers the audio, say 15 seconds. So you've got your headset on, you ask an EVP question, so is anybody in here? 15 seconds later you hear yourself asking that question and a potential response. So if someone does respond, you're actually listening, so you're almost reviewing the audio 15 seconds later. So you're hearing yourself, you then hear the potential response, and if somebody responds, you can then respond to that. So now you can start directing your questions to the potential responses you're getting. And that way you're actually now able to cater your EVP questions to that. And I've actually had a hit with that. We were in Shakashikari Island in Trinidad. It was a leper colony. Excellent. It wasn't really leper. And we actually had someone saying, leave now, clear as day. Mm-hmm. Leave now, I heard it. And then we had another one, something like go away, something like that. There was two. And basically whoever was there, whatever was there, didn't want us there. But because I heard it, and I said, well, why? Why do you want me to leave? What have I done? And I was able to now question based on the response, and I was getting that instant response. 9 times out of 10, when we go home, we wait a week before we even listen to that audio. You know what I mean? So we don't know if we've got a response. We're in the dark asking questions. Is anyone in here? Yeah, I'm here. So what? You can't hear them. You know, you're waiting another week later. So they're answering your questions, but you're not replying to them. Mm-hmm. So it's frustrating, right? I mean, if people keep doing that.
Well, we ran into a problem not too far from here, where one of the entities basically told the investigators, leave me alone. I don't want you coming here anymore. You're like, I'm not going to jump through your. In other words, I'm not jumping through your hoops.
Right.
And it's one of the most active places around. It's a public, it's a clothing store, active as heck, and as a result, everybody with a tape recorder and a business card that says "ghost" something shows up and pokes the bear.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
And it knocked our investigator, who was a psychic, it knocked her down. Like literally knocked her down. She became nauseous. They had to carry her out.
See, that's the thing. That whole "we're here to help." It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. If you're here to help, then you need to be able to actually hear what they're saying and hear, and respond to what they're saying and actually help.
Do you sell those?
The RT EVPs?
Yeah.
Do we sell some?
We do. I think we're going to get back to it. To me, it was one of my favorite pieces of video.
I love it.
And in all honesty, and Gary will say this too. It was a bit complicated, and I think that was the big drawback for
He
the
overcomplicated
RT-EVP,
it.
but I love it. I love the RT-EVP. It has a ton of features that people probably should be using.
It also has a ton of things that really you don't need to be using.
But it's a little complicated. So it was a little hard to move.
Yeah. I remember I used to do a lot of investigations and actually show people how to use it because they thought it meant radio transmission. They thought the RT was radio transmissions, and I was like, no, it means real time. And they're like, oh, so how does that work? You just spent $300 on this recorder and you don't know how it works?
That was the
Yeah, that would be a little bit awkward. And for a guy like me who's more left brain than right brain, I take things out of the box and throw the box away with the instructions.
I don't read
And
instructions.
then I just look at it and go, I can figure this out.
those are things on the paper that tell you how to.
They're the things you keep making right for people.
Translated from Chinese into Spanish.
You know what? Of late, I've actually been writing a very quick guide for a lot of the equipment that we sell because I don't read instruction booklets ever, because they're useless to me. I don't understand what they're saying here. So I basically figure it out and then I write it down as I would have figured it out. And that's it.
The cool thing though is that we get a chance as Ghost Stop to talk to investigators and investigative teams every day.
Yep.
I mean, we talk to teams all over the world every day, and we hear those things. The types of issues that they are having, the kinds of questions that they do have. So, we're building the directions around not even the manual, but what we get, the most questions.
Yeah, like a lot of people were complaining that their GoPros and their cameras, the audio wasn't very good. And I was like, well, are you using it in the walkthrough housing? Yeah. Well, that's why your audio isn't very good. Because you're in an enclosed box. I mean, it needs if you open that up, suddenly you're going to find that the audio is a lot better. Oh, yeah. So I have to make a note on the instructions for better audio and that. Just little things that everybody sort of neglects to think about. I think that's the easiest way to put it. That's why I do the simple guides, the quick guides, because it is just little things.
And it's perfect. Most of the people like us who are going out and doing investigations really just want to grab it out of the box, throw it back and go, and don't want to spend a week learning how to use it before we go. And I think it's just a personality of people that
it's
are
everybody.
interested in stuff.
It's everyone. It's everyone.
And there is a lot of equipment out there that is complicated. I think one of our goals is to make it as simple as possible. And if you look through the things that we make, you will pretty much see an on-off switch.
Yeah.
That's about what you get with Ghost Stop.
Blue Buddy.
Yeah. You turn it on, you turn it off.
That's it.
The new EVP band that we got, it is inexpensive because we want everybody to have one, and it's just that.
It's the same as Blue Buddy. It's simple.
You have a Zoom recorder; it has a ton of features on it. Great audio recorder. I've been using an Olympus since day one. It has a ton of features I never use. I hit record.
I was actually talking about the H1. I said get the H1 because it's the same quality.
I like the H1.
It's the same quality. It's just a lot of features you don't need.
But we try and our goal is to make things simple.
Yeah, and that's
switch to turn it on and a way to turn it off.
Like that hold button throws everyone off.
Well, this is Peter Renz, who's the head of the Vancouver Paranormal, and he lent it to me yesterday. I'd never used it before, and I got 20 minutes into an interview before I realized I wasn't recording it.
You have to press record twice.
Yeah.
I've done that many times myself. So.
Yeah. My
did once on GHL, and I was like, oh shit. I know they're going to do that whole. I went through the whole audio. There was nothing.
Your Pilgrim loved that one.
Well, no, do it. I was tent manager.
In fact, you guys didn't get anything either.
Yeah,
you know what? Something's turned off our equipment.
You know what, dude? There was something. We went through DVR systems. We went through DVR after DVR after DVR, and it got to the stage I just started blaming customs because we had these computerized DVR system, which was supposed to be like the high-tech element. It would capture anything that's moved, and all the screens it would tell you. And every camera was being monitored. This camera, this software was the best. And I pressed record. Yeah, okay, that looks like everything's recording good. Like, go through investigation. End of night, I turn it up. It's not recording for anything. What am I going to do? The production manager, not the production manager, the executive producer had come down from LA, flown out to Scotland. to see how we were doing. And I was like, shit. So I said, look, customers must have screwed up the DVR again. I can't believe it. Okay, so I went back the next day and we had to set all the cameras up again and film so that they had footage for the show. So we had to go back. I on my own, had to go back to make sure we had everything they needed for the show. So I ended up having to do basically 2 investigations.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, and that's the issues, most of the guys have. It was almost like you want a light, a small green light, to know it's on from a distance.
So the geophone doesn't come with an on-off light. It's just, so what I did is I corrected, because when you don't have the sensor connected, then you don't know if it's on or off, really. I mean, you could just turn So I put a light on it. It was a simple, just a green light to say it's on. It makes a massive difference. It makes a huge difference. Because, it doesn't drain the batteries. Because that's
Yeah.
it.
I've been using it for years, just a Sony, your basic little digital recorder with the, a little flick of the thumb, or a thumb drive. Flick of the thumb, plug it in the computer and go.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that because, if the light's on, it's working. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm out.
And he was never seen.
Yep. Wrap it up.
Okay. We've been talking to Shawn Porter. Are you are you from Florida originally?
Yeah, I'm actually probably one of the only natives
Of Florida?
meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people in Florida have come down from up north. Yeah, I was born in Florida. Most of my family's from Canada, from Ontario.
Yeah, probably like original snowbirds went down there 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah,
And
my mom would come down and vacation with the family, and
Yeah.
my dad, and it's all, downhill from there.
Downhill from there?
Well, yeah.
But you live near Disneyland, or Disney World, sorry. And so I've been talking to Shawn Porter and the young Paul. Oh, he's back.
Yeah,
Bradford.
there it is. I was so quick I didn't even wash my hands.
Oh, that's sure.
Well, tell the listener, what's your website?
Website is ghoststop.com. I would say the best way to connect to it is Facebook too. I mean,
Facebook?
You go on ghoststop.com to check out all our equipment, but the quickest way to see what we're doing, what we're up to, new equipment we've got going on. We do sales contests, giveaways, all kinds of.
We give away little tidbits as far as sort of what we're working on.
Yeah.
Things like that. We interact regularly with fans and customers.
Because I'm a big fan of Facebook, so that's usually where I put everything out first. Because Facebook allows you to kind of put something out really quick and get it out there, and it's a good way for us to interact with investigators and teams on a daily basis. So we're always on there answering questions. If you have any questions, just hit us up. My personal page though is just look up Ghost. Shawn 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 Porter GS. SHAWN PORTERGS on Facebook, and again, always on there and answer your questions, need help, advice, whatever. I'm there.
Yeah, my Facebook is back from the GHI days, so it's actually Paul Bradford GHI. No space, just Paul Bradford.
Paul Bradford, GSI, GHI.
Oh dear God, now you confused everyone.
Okay. I've never done that before.
No, clearly. GHI.
And you can write you guys at info@ghoststop.com.
Yes.
Or bounce into St. Cloud, Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drop
Yeah.
in, say hi.
We've got a little shop in a historic St. Cloud downtown area. We're right smack in the middle.
You
of
can't miss us.
Yeah, you can't miss us.
Yeah,
The big-
we're red and black.
Red and black sign out front. Giant
Giant
looks
ghost.
like a movie theater marquee in front of the
Yeah.
Giant ghost out in front. Well, thank you very much for coming on Space Out Weekend with me, and I hope you had a good time here at the Western Canada
Had a blast.
Paranormal Spirit and Spirit Expo 2015. Appreciate you coming out. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And we're out.